We can't hear anything.
You need me to set up a open mic?
I can hear you when you talk, but I don't know if anybody else is talking. We can't, and put the camera on also.
Can you hear me now?
I can. It's not very clear, but I can.
A little bit closer. Is that better?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm not used to the mics, and I don't think I had it turned on early, so I apologize. We called the meeting to order at 1:30 rather, and just said the Pledge of Allegiance. And we're going to move on to roll call. This is Jennifer Nisanoff.
Danny Clemens.
Ed Chitkowski.
Larry Dixon.
Ed Crawford.
And Andrew Johnston, Gateway Services.
No, okay. And then we have one item for discussion in our workshop today, and it's the final review of the Wiser Post Order. As we all know, we've been working on this for some time, and we've incorporated all the changes that we believe have been submitted. What we're going to do is walk through this today and do it very methodically, kind of like how we walked through the information that we provided last meeting for the change from the management of the budget from KW to GSCDD. We just went one after another. If people had questions, if they had comments, etc., we gave people the opportunity to speak. And then if there are any questions about what that person said, we can address it at that time. The goal of today's meeting is to get all the changes, if there are any, into the document that I'll be sharing in a moment. And then we'll get that distributed out to the entire team. And at the next meeting, we will vote on whether we accept all of these changes, because this is something we can't today. Let me pause and see if there are any questions or comments. Okay, let me see if I can share this. I'm not very my second time on a Mac. It didn't work well. So. Lost the share. Oh, I see it. No, I see it. Okay. See that? Not coming up. Happening. Ah, thank you. Okay. And I'll just make the changes.
Yeah, that might be the.
Okay.
Easier way to do this may be just to share this to the room, and then you can update. Yours will display in the chat, or sorry, in the share screen. These ones will display for the room.
So they see got my screen.
That's mine. Let me see if I can do this. Better. All right, go ahead and share your screen again.
Right, Jennifer, this is Dean Groves. I don't know if you were able to approve my participation remotely.
Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, I know what you mean. All right. I need a motion to allow Dean Groves to participate remotely due to extenuating circumstances. Do I hear that motion?
I make a motion to accept Dean Groves access remotely. Danny.
Kowski will second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, it passes. Thank you, Dean.
All right, thank you.
All right. You know what? All right. You know what I did? All right. This works. Thanks for your patience here. All right, couple things. Remember, from the original email, the formatting may not be perfect, especially with some of the blank pages, etc. It turns out it's a wiser formatting issue because they had put some kind of template. They used some kind of template. I don't have whatever I need to fix that, so don't worry about blank pages. We'll just keep scrolling through them, and they can fix it, when we submit this to them. So we've got the front page here. Just go very slowly here. This is just front pages. Get a few blank pages. Is this size good for you guys? I know it's going to be hard. You won't see the whole page on the screen. Emergency phone numbers. Again, don't worry about the formatting. The formatting will get fixed.
I have a comment on this page.
Yes?
Okay, I think, again, this is a contract between Weiser and the district. And on this page and the next page, I think that the district's phone number should be listed first.
Okay.
So that now here on this one that has it, Adam Rather, Jennifer Lewis, I would think that the district appears first with their phone number, and then their names would follow after that.
Make all changes right now like I thought I wanted to because it's just going to take too long. So this page.
No, it's not moving the page first, it's moving the names and phone numbers, rearranging the names and phone numbers.
All right, so are you suggesting we take this and put it up, cut and paste and put it up of here?
No.
This is Laura. Can you guys make sure that you're talking into your microphones, please? I can hear Dean, but I can't hear anybody in the room. Jennifer, I hear you every once in a while if you must get your face in front of the microphone, but if you guys could make sure you talk into the mics, please.
Yeah, so
Okay, I'll try. Thank you for reminding me. Is that better?
that's better.
Yes, thank you.
Now, I think maybe this is what you were saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Thank you.
And I think that the Rover phone number is different, or it has been changed. I don't know if that's the correct number.
Jennifer
Just-
Lewis is checking it now. I see
Just
her.
confirm that. That was apparent. There was a change a few weeks ago. And I just don't know if that's the right number, that's all.
Give us a second. I'll come back to that while Jennifer's looking. Anything else in these couple of pages?
Okay, this is Danny, my page 6, emergency numbers. Landscaping should be a number that's listed there for the guard services. It's not, and I believe the CDD uses Ameriscape, or the PPCA uses Ameriscape.
Can you tell me what page it is, like the page on the
It's
document?
page 6 on the original document,
Can you tell me what
where
it
it
is?
says emergency numbers, local fire department. There you
Okay,
go.
this one?
Yeah, so we have, scroll down, utilities, so right after Comcast, and I know we still have Comcast in this,
Mhm.
the landscaper the grounds landscaper for broken pipes, that they need to be notified.
So this is,
Right under Comcast,
Yes.
add
very challenging.
No. Yeah, after the phone number, return,
Yes.
tab over. Yeah,
Meriscape is our provider.
This is Andrew. What might be easier is if I display the post orders,
Uh-huh.
and then you can make your changes on your sheet without
Yeah.
sharing them. And you can make your notes and such, and then we can go
You know what
through
I do?
the notes at the end and make sure that we captured everything.
I was trying to do this electronically.
I know.
It might not work as well as I'd hoped.
As long as we capture the
Yeah.
changes and then the changes are reflected on the next document, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah. I was just trying to be efficient, and that's not the way it's happening. So I happen to have a document here. Now, okay, you took it away from me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So is Meriscape the only landscape company that we need to have listed there, or get it?
All right, so we're gonna add Meriscape after Comcast. I think what we were saying is we probably don't want to do that because there's actually Comcast in the neighborhoods. All their infrastructure is still there, so if something happens. Okay, all right, okay, that's a Meriscape. 239 368 5127. Fantastic, thank you. And then what about the Rover? Did you get Rovers? Okay, one moment, please. Okay. Okay, I'll just put to be updated shortly.
Yeah.
Yes. It's okay. Anything else on page 5 of the document? Emergency numbers, okay. The next page, which is page 6, client representative to be contacted. We've got the GSCDD customer care going before executive director. Under Rover, the number will be updated shortly, but we don't have the updated number yet, so I'm just going to put a note saying to be updated shortly.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on page 6? All right. Page 7, Wiser Supervisory Personnel. Any comments, questions, or suggestions about that page? Okay. Jennifer, do you know of any
Can you
changes? I
scroll
think I
up
have to
there?
recognize you. So Jennifer Lewis, do you have any changes that would be appropriate? Yeah, if you could go to the next page, Andrew, where it says Wiser Supervisor, that's it, yes. Branch manager, let's see, Tim. Can you spell his last name for me, please? Gritton, thank you. And do you have a cell number? Okay, we'll come back to that. Thank you for the update. Any other questions or comments? Bob?
I know how to get the building live, but I don't know how to get the phone guardian.
I understand the question. I don't know the answer, though.
You're talking about at the guard check?
Yes.
It's a regular number that sometimes they answer. There is a physical phone there.
Okay.
And that's the correct number, Jennifer? Okay. All right.
Question, oh, hang on. normally during a workshop, there's no public comment. I think that was Bob. If you're going to have someone talk as a liaison during the workshop, they need to come to the microphone so we can get it in the recording and people who are not there can hear.
Okay, thank you.
Laura, I'm going to add a microphone to the center table of the room. I think that'll make things a little faster.
Okay, well, Andrew's doing that. Are we good to go on from page 7? All right, let's move to page 8, schedule events for all guards. Any comments, questions, or suggestions on this page?
Pardon me, this is Danny. Can you clarify? I'm showing it as page 8 in the document.
I thought that's what I said was 8. I'm sorry. Page 8, schedule events for all guards.
No, you're on. Page 8 is actually scheduled events for all guards.
It's the page right there, Danny.
That's
It's
much as
not
we
the
got.
page of the whole thing. It's the page on the actual document. Yeah,
Incorrect.
that's okay. Okay, then let's move on to page 10. I've skipped a few blank pages. I didn't print those out. Post hours and guard force organization. Okay.
So in charge of operation there is that has Louis Chappette. Is that still correct, or is that now Tim Britton?
I think that, good catch. I think that's now Tim Britton, and we will update that. Just take a second to write that down, Tim Britton, and we need to get his phone number. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Marty Mantonfeld, PPAC. Why are the hours for the guardhouse going from 6 to 2, and the rover and the supervisor go from 7 to 3? Why isn't there some teamwork there?
I have no idea. I don't know that we know this. This is how they operate. We felt it was important to leave it in here just so that the community would understand it, because this is going to be available to the community, and there have been comments about how they operate. So if anybody at the table knows the answer to that.
That would be something that would be dictated from Wiser. That's not something that we dictate in our contract. So we don't tell them how to do their business. We just expect them to have staffing 24 hours a day.
Yes.
I think this is Dean, and that's what I was about to say. They operate 24/7. So they staff, they may have a slightly different shift, but they operate 24/7.
Okay. Are we ready to move on? Let's go to page 11, rover and supervisor. Any comments, questions, or? Okay. Oh, yes, Danny.
This is Danny. I have a question regarding the rover and the supervisor having 2 additional guards that we're paying for that are performing the same function. So either the supervisor is performing a rover function during his or her shift in the morning, and the guard in the 3 to 11 and the midnight to 8 shift picks it up, but we're paying what CDD is paying for an extra guard services that it doesn't call for according to the contract, except during high season.
So that's an opportunity to reduce some of the costs then, Danny.
That's my comment, yes.
I'll make a note here, and we'll just have to get that back to Wiser.
I think in the contract, if I remember correctly, they have minimum staffing for most of the year. And then there is a comment in there that there is an extra person in the gatehouse during the high season.
This is Danny again, that's correct, but currently we're showing 3 guards during the day shift. So they're violating their own contract.
I'm just
Gotcha.
taking a moment, please. Okay, thank you for that, Danny. I'll put a note
One
here.
question, clarification. Shouldn't they have 3? Shouldn't they have a rover, guard, and a supervisor?
No, because the function of the supervisor is to oversee the operation, but he or she also operates as the rover.
I did not know that, okay.
Yeah, okay, or we have 3 guards in the booth, 2 guards in the booth, and we're paying for an extra guard that has no function. The supervisor should be overseeing the process. So we're paying for an extra guard for 8 hours. When, if the supervisor's working, you don't need a rover, in my opinion. Having done this for 20 years, you have a supervisor.
That is an opportunity then, but this is the way it was
Well, it's
originally
written
set up.
this way. Yeah, correct. This is the
Okay.
way it's written.
Okay,
Going forward, I highly recommend we
Okay.
look into that.
topic for another meeting, but right now, it is correct the way PPAC authorized it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and I've written a note down that we should just bring this up for discussion.
Yep.
But let me clarify. According to the contract, their contract, they're only supposed to have 1 additional guard during the day shift.
1 over the 3,
Okay, 1 over 3. Okay,
so it'll be the 4th person in season.
okay,
That's what PPAC authorized in the past.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on page 11? All right, let's move on to page 12 on post-form completion and report writing procedures. Again, this is these are wiser procedures. We removed quite a bit of them, but we thought some of these should remain because it's important to make sure that our community understands what they do and what they don't do. And it also will help us because our team and our team being the Safety and Security Subcommittee, as well as GSCDD, want to be able to get a hold of some of these reports. So we wanted to make sure it was very clear what the expectations were. That's why we left them in. So just that as background to remind people and just to help our 2 new folks on our team. With that background, any changes, suggestions?
Yeah, Jennifer, I have a question. I'm not sure on which page it would fall, but my question, it has to do with retention of security camera footage. Is there a provision in here somewhere that they don't clear the tapes, wipe the tapes clear?
Is that a role for Wiser? Are
Is
they
it a
the-
ro- Well, they have the cameras at the entrance. And on occasion, I would think we would need to go back and review the tapes, review the videotapes.
Right, I understand. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that they don't, after 24 hours, they're gone,
That, this is
Yes.
Andrew. Laura, the camera system there, is that an asset of the CDD or?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay,
I
so-
just didn't know Wiser was the one responsible for the maintenance and retention type activities of that data. That's what I was actually asking. For some
Well,
reason.
I know, like with our district cameras, per our Tony, our corporate counsel, that they need to be, the images need to be maintained for a minimum of 30 days. And then after 30 days, if we haven't looked at it by then, it's okay. I mean, longer is better, but it has to be a minimum of 30 days that the information is available.
And who's responsible for making sure that that occurs and that tapes aren't erased prematurely?
That would be Wiser's responsibility, but we need to make sure that that's spelled out.
Okay, that's the issue then. Okay, so we need to.
I don't know if they actually have tapes. Most people have digital recording now, so I don't think there's actual tapes anymore, but I could be wrong.
That might just be.
Okay, this is Danny. I'm going to address that because I'm intimately involved with that currently. The system is a DVR system. It's maintained on the web, the out web, through the company that supports it. What's the name of the company?
New IQ.
New IQ. The DVR holds up to 60 days, and I've been able to retrieve in excess of 60 days, depending on how much is being stored as far as an event. So the DVR is capable of in excess of 30 days of an incident. But that becomes another issue, that incidents must be reported so we can retrieve that data.
If we wanted to put this into the document, would you be willing to write just a short paragraph on that? And send
Absolutely.
it to me? I don't know, you can't send it to me. Send it to Georgia to send to me, I guess is what's appropriate, and then I can put it in here.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll label video retrieval and storage.
That'd be great.
And as a side note, I do have access to the video remotely. I can access it.
Okay, terrific.
I begin-
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else? Okay. All right, then let's move on to page 13, which is an example of a security report. Again, this is the information that Wiser uses, or the form that they actually use. Okay, moving on to page 14, incident reports. This is the background, and then on the following page is an example. So maybe you can look at the background and the example. If you have any questions, or if it sparks anything that maybe we need to address, that'd be terrific.
We're not getting them on a regular basis.
Okay.
We've-
But the information, Jennifer was just saying that we're not getting them, well, she's not getting them on a regular basis. If you could check to make sure, Jennifer, that it's written up that you should be getting them, then I think we need to address non-compliance. But as long as it's in here saying that they should do it, then the expectation is laid out. Okay, thanks.
It is written that way,
Yeah.
that they're supposed to be getting them, and we wanted to change it or amend it so that the district also gets them. So the expectation is clear. Incident reports get forwarded to both the district and to the property manager, every time, no question.
Okay, for some reason I thought it's here, but I'll just take a note and
Question?
ensure that it's there.
Question?
Okay, one moment, please. I hear you. Let me just write this note so I don't forget.
Yep.
Okay, ensure the property manager and CDD receive copies of all. Okay, yes, Marty.
Marty Mantonfeld from PPAC. So there is a timeliness when the reports need to be completed, but you didn't specify a timeliness when they need to be distributed.
It's in the description, Marty. This is Dean. It's in the description. Every shift, immediately, once the emergency is over, the incident report gets submitted. It's not like a week later.
Well, that's when they need to complete the report. That's not when they actually distribute the report. Those times are different.
Yep, I think I see what you're saying.
On page 16, yeah.
And how regularly should, I mean, I don't know if that's the way to word it, but after the completion of the shift, how long should it take before it is sent on to the property manager and to the CDD?
Generally, it's the next business day.
Next business day? Okay,
Monday to Friday, the site supervisor's on site. Other than if it's a weekend event, it has to be submitted through their main office.
okay, terrific.
Can you please be sure that process is working? Because I can't tell you the last time I've seen a report, and I know that there's been stuff going on.
Me too.
Right, understand. Yeah, and well, I'll take a note of that so that we can follow up on that, but I want to make sure that it's properly documented here to set the expectation. Okay, so it goes to their business office first, Danny, and
No.
then it,
During the weekend, so Monday to Friday,
mhm.
at the end of their shift, they're supposed to submit it. The site supervisor the next morning should be reviewing these and having them distributed accordingly without delay.
Right,
During the weekends, when there's no site supervisor, that information should be forwarded to the general office, who should in turn submit an email, submit it as a document, attachment to the CDD and or our property manager.
okay. Thank you. Okay. Very helpful.
And I'll
Thank
make
you.
one more note on that. On the incident reports, they should have a number. Nowhere in this sheet does it offer a case number, a log number, or anything else. So at the very top of the sheet of the incident report, it should, not that, the next page.
Should be sequential, so you know you didn't miss one.
Correct. So they should have a copy. So when I want to see report number 123 of 2023, it should be in that folder accordingly. So somewhere in this report where it says incident report, there should be a control number. That can be
Okay.
referenced.
Thank you. What else? Okay. Then let's move on to page 16, which is a weekly timesheet.
That's just a wire you got, right?
Yeah. What I'm finding though is people are reading things and it spurs ideas, so I just want to give people a chance for it to percolate for just a second. We've gotten some good feedback. Okay, then let's move on to the next page, which is page 17, late call off, change of schedule. Also some wiser procedures, but if it spurs any ideas, feel free to bring them up.
Can we move to that document? There we go.
Just takes a second. We'll give you a second there.
Jennifer, this is Dean.
Yes.
I guess I'm not seeing the screen, but that's okay. My question is, is there ever an issue where the guard isn't going to show up, that the post is not going to be manned, that that the property manager needs to be informed? Everybody's on strike today or something. I don't know, but.
This is Danny. That brings up another question, is the validity of their employment. How do we know, like you said, that they are showing up for work and the numbers that are supposed to be there are there? Has there been any oversight from the CDD or checks and balances against their presence, or involving their presence? Do they call in and say, everybody's here?
Should just get a monthly report of
So-
of their time sheets.
So basically they run free reign unless there's an audit.
Well, I thought that was,
Well,
this is Bob, I thought that was the supervisor's responsibility
that's
to
exactly
cover.
what I was going to say.
Now, during the hurricane strike, when personnel couldn't make it or didn't come here, they notified the community at the time. I think it was Jim, were you here for Ian? Okay, whoever, Scott, and we knew, the PERT team
Right.
knew they weren't coming, and the PERT team people went and manned the post, but that's not normal. I mean, that's an
Yeah, I think it
aberration.
means like tomorrow, what happens is no
Yeah.
one shows up. There's no emergency
We would expect it
situation.
to be the site supervisors.
Exactly. I would think it was their
It's an internal
responsibility.
wiser function to cover it.
Correct, but there's no checks and balances. This is Danny, no checks and balances. We don't know until after the fact, possibly.
You're
If the
right.
guard, if the guard goes home after 8 hours, my shift is over, I'm going home.
Well, there's one thing here that says if the person hasn't shown up, the previous person has to stay until they are relieved. So they have provision in here for that. Whether it occurs or not, there may not be a check or balance to say, well.
Short of a time card system, which I don't think we want to
No.
be
Yeah.
fooled with, but other than that, you wouldn't know.
Right. And I think there's even something in here says that they need, let their supervisor.
Yeah, in the past, when Castle was here and Securitas was here, there was a daily communication. Is there such a thing today?
Jennifer Lewis is shaking her head no.
Yeah, it's non-existent.
So, but implement one, just put a word.
Yeah.
Let them
Right.
affirm through Jennifer, they're here.
Can we add that to this contract? Is there an amendment clause?
That's a Laura
Yeah,
question.
that's a, Laura, do you have a response to that?
It might be easier, I don't know if this is possible, just to put it down as an expectation. Because the contract's pretty high level, so some of this might be, I understand where you're going with it, Dan, I saw the gesture, but I'm just asking, I'm not saying it has to go that way, I'm just putting it out, so you don't like it, please speak up.
No,
and say
I'm just
no.
saying, in reviewing the previous contracts, there was an amendment clause that the customer can request additional services that shall be adhered to by the contract.
Mhm.
If the provider does not want to do it, he and she can walk away. So if we say we want a daily report, a call in somewhere that the guards are here, I don't think that's something that they would deny.
Okay,
I agree with you, Danny.
yeah. I'm wondering if we can't really just put it in here, we probably should talk to them about it, and I don't know whether we talk to them or whether CDD should talk to them about this kind of expectation.
Yeah, I'm not able to answer that, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Laura, do you have any insight as to how this used to go down?
Might have been pulled away for a moment.
Okay, we can go back to that.
Yeah. We're furiously taking notes. Hold on a moment, please. Okay, I put that as a follow-up. Okay, Danny said we'll go back and make sure that we have that. Whoever the appropriate person is has the discussion. Okay, thank you. All right, anything else on page 17?
And Dean, are you able to see what we're looking at now?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Appreciate it, Andrew.
Okay. Then let's move on to page 18. This is post-specific orders. We've got location and description, hours of coverage.
I just have an edit in the first paragraph.
Uh-huh.
Says the second sentence, this WCI Communities Development, you know, I think we should edit that out and just say this community
Yeah, I understand.
is widely viewed, you know. But it's, you know, that's just an edit.
Yeah, that's good though. We didn't catch that before. Anything else? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Marty. I was looking.
Marty Mantonfeld, PPAC. So on the issue of staffing shortages during a shift, would you expect an incident report to be initiated? And this would alert everybody else that they were short?
We're taking, we took a follow-up item to get together with Wiser to talk about that whole issue. So they might have a way that they prefer to do it that would work for property management and CDD, we don't know. We also have to find out who from our side of the contract would be the appropriate person to actually have those discussions, because it might be the CDD versus our subcommittee.
Well, if they write an incident report, everybody will know about it.
There might be a time issue though, because if the incident report doesn't get distributed to the following day or on, you know, over the weekend through the main office, we might want to know about it sooner.
Okay.
That's just my thought.
I wouldn't think that would constitute an incident per se, but there needs to be some procedure established.
Right, right. And I noted a follow-up, so we'll get that documented and make sure it happens.
Thank you, Jen.
This is Jen Lewis of KW. The third bullet, the golf club does not allow them to park at their parking lot any longer. They have to park at the Rocky Center in the town center.
Okay, thank you. Got it, thank you. Anything else? Okay, training requirements at the very bottom of page 18. All right, then let's move on to 19. Post policies, use of property management's personal cell phone. Meal breaks.
Jen, excuse me.
Yes.
Bob Gephardt, should that be GSCDD and the two people we have, we just made GSCDD primary and KW secondary?
You mean for the first bullet item?
Yeah.
It's a good question, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, Bob, with your comment, but in either way, yeah, CDD probably should be first. CDD is the client.
All right, well, maybe I'm not following then. I'm looking at the post policies and I see use of property management's personal cell phone. Did you mean, Bob, that we should also add CDD?
Yes. Just
Okay, okay, because I didn't see where we would be reordering it, so, okay. Okay,
Do they use your personal cell now?
I did get a call from Sharon,
Oh, they just
a
called you?
rogue irrigation line last week. And it was-
They call you, they don't
Mhm.
use your phone.
No,
Except
she just
contact
calls
you.
me and I call
Yeah.
Ameriscape.
In an order of contacting the appropriate higher level, CDD should be first, property manager second.
okay. And the CDD would be that general customer services number?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Meal breaks. Fraternization. Phone usage. Courtesy. Scheduled shift and visitors. Confidential information. Phone, fax, and computer usage. Okay, then let's move on to, oh, yes.
Jennifer, see, I'd like to add somewhere, and I guess this is probably the only place that I could see doing it, that it seems to me that I've observed several times that the portico, is that the right word? The portico, the structure has been hit by overhyped vehicles. And sometimes it gets fixed and sometimes it doesn't. Personally, I think it needs to be fixed, and whomever hits it is responsible. But I think the point is the officers shall observe and stop all overhyped vehicles from approaching through the visitor lane. So they have a way to determine that, whoa, that truck looks high, looks tall.
I'm just thinking because that means that they are constantly watching for the cars coming in through the visitors lane.
Yeah, they need to do that anyway.
Do they have visibility?
Mhm.
They do, as they're coming up,
Yes.
before they get to the point where.
There's a window there that there's a double window right in front of the computers. So as they're sitting there, they look right at us and they see all oncoming vehicles.
Yeah, landscaping.
I'm just trying to visualize that window. I know the window, once you've pulled up to the portico, then on the left there's a window, but there's a window that's actually facing
the
toward
front.
tree line? Okay, I guess I've never
It's a
noticed it.
double hung window.
I'll have to look for it on my way
It's a double window.
back today. Marty?
How are you going to enforce that? After the
Well,
fact, after the
yeah,
truck hits the structure? Are you
Yeah,
going to provide
maybe.
a laser guided measuring tool?
They certainly have those available, but yeah, maybe that's what it is. And if the same if the same guard's on duty 2 or 3 times and 2 or 3 times the portico gets hit, that person's not doing their job.
This is Danny. I believe the concern from the community is going to be the aesthetics of having some kind of measuring device out there. Now, you mentioned a laser. There is a device that can be placed at the base of the portico, right at the 12-foot, 9-foot thing, that would set off an alarm to the guard that an overheight vehicle is coming through. That's a possibility. There is a sign on the portico. There is a sign. Maybe we could have a device that on the ground, if it crosses over, but again, it becomes aesthetics to put something up there that's gonna measure the height of a vehicle that will be set off every time a bus, if I come into my RV, it's gonna set it off. The only other way is that sign has to be either illuminated and or enhanced at where the entrance is, 9,200, and have height, maximum vehicle height. So that's something we could look into. But I know aesthetics, that the community association, they're against all kinds of signs and everything. They have been in the past, putting lots of signs up, telling people what to do. Common sense should prevail, but we know that doesn't occur based on the incident. So that's something we can look at as far as some kind of a laser device that will set off an alarm.
Like rental trucks. People would rent a truck, have no idea how high their vehicle is coming in. And a U-Haul would probably be the first one that would tear that place up before a regular truck driver would, because they know the height of their vehicle.
Well, Boar's Head did it last time.
So,
Boar's Head.
but that's something we can look at, some kind of aesthetic sign, aesthetically pleasing sign. All trucks must stay to the right, other than pickup trucks, obviously.
Ted Crawford, how often does this occur? It seems like,
Once too many.
this seems like much ado about nothing. I mean, do we have documentation of the number of times this thing's been hit?
Maybe twice.
Well, go out there, Ted, go out there now and take a look, and you'll see that the cement repair has 2 big gouges in it from the most recent incident. How long ago? I have no idea, but if time has gone by and the repair hasn't been fixed, that becomes a problem. It all contributes to, in my opinion, to the aesthetic of the community.
They're getting quotes from.
And probably the absence of a report, an incident report when it occurred,
There you go.
which ought to be the start of it.
Right.
So we can tag the person that damaged it and get reimbursed.
There you go.
That was reported, okay.
And landscape work groups working on the whole repainting of the gatehouse.
Okay,
It's all,
so it is
it's
getting
in the
repaired.
works.
All right, so team, what do we want to do? Do we want to put something in here that this is going to be part of their responsibilities? Or just leave it at that and see how it goes? Do we want to also maybe investigate some of what Danny is suggesting? What's the thought?
I think we should, this is Dan, I think we should put something in the post orders that all guards must be vigilant to all oncoming vehicles. They're gonna be vigilant.
Yep.
So vigilance is important, it's imperative, and if an incident occurs during their shift and they violate this, then we go into a different phase that we need to talk about. But we should put something in it that they know they're responsible to know whether or not a vehicle is gonna fit through that opening. Hold them responsible. They're holding the contract, they should be doing it.
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
Give them the responsibility first before we take this huge leap to a bunch of
Yes,
stuff.
okay. All right, so all
You know,
guards must be
shouldn't it be
diligent.
obvious if a vehicle hits
Something more.
portico? Don't we have video? I mean, shouldn't we be able to hold people accountable anyhow? As it is now?
We should, but again, we need the reports to be filed, so we can follow up on it. And then we need a penalty phase, which this contract does not offer a penalty phase. So this is a self-serving document.
Does the current video show the whole open? I don't
The
know.
current
I know we
video
usually license
shows,
plates.
there's 6 cameras there, and they, 2 for the outside, 4 for the incoming. They don't show the portico being hit because it shows the camera that's there is facing at an angle, so it doesn't pick up that picture.
That might be an opportunity, if it's a 7th camera, but
That's a good one. We have room on the DVR. It's not a problem.
then you can nail it down to the vehicle and did it. Go after it.
I mean, I would rather put one by the flagpole coming the opposite way. It's like the plate reader on the other side, we can capture it coming up, and double it up.
Is that something, that's not something for the Wiser post orders, though? That would be, I think, a project that we would have to work with the CBD for, wouldn't it?
I believe so. That'll be, yeah, it's something we have to work with
Okay.
them. But we do need to hold up the
Yes.
Wiser accountable for damage to the portico based on their non-vigilance.
Right, so I think we've agreed to put two things into the post orders. One, that all guards must be vigilant about incoming vehicles to make sure that overhead vehicles don't come in and damage the portico. And if it does happen, they need to file an incident report through their normal procedures. Everything else, I think what we're gonna do is follow up.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Now,
That's right.
we have another action item about sending me projects. If you could send me that as a project, I'd be happy to add it to the list.
Got it.
Thank you.
Do they have like little portable digital cameras or something? We could have a dozen of them sitting there so that if an incident like that happens, that the guard steps out there, take all the necessary pictures, and we've got a record of
I believe, this is Danny, I believe they have the cell phone for that purpose.
That's a
it.
good idea.
Does it take their pictures?
All cell phones take pictures.
I don't know how old this one is.
They just updated, if I'm not mistaken, they just updated themselves. But we will look into that, yeah, that's an option to have a portable, like the old.
Just take pictures, pictures, 1,000 words. You can take pictures of the license plate, the damage, the vehicle, the driver.
Well, that we get coming in anyway.
Yeah, the license plate you have on.
We already have that information. The only thing we don't have is the height, a photo of the height, but I'll double check the cameras when I get home.
Okay.
I don't have it on this computer, I can see the actual, I should have brought it and show it.
Fort Myers PD is usually called for any kind of damage like that too.
They should be called. I know for a fact, a lot of times they're not called for that, for such damage. Like when they break the gate arms and they don't stop.
Oh, yeah.
Reported them. But we catch them, the new system, we've identified.
Okay, terrific.
Okay.
All right. Good discussion. Okay, the next page 22 and a little part of 23 is the work that the team did to update the information on access control. And I know we've had a lot of opportunity to provide input on these, but we do have a couple of new members to the team. And new eyes always see things a little fresher than some of those of us who've been around. So let me just take a moment and see if there are any questions, comments, or suggestions with this information.
This is Dean again. There was, I thought, Jennifer, a bullet that dealt with deliveries of newspapers. Are these guys supposed to let the delivery guys through?
I think that is dealt with the vendors registered in Dwelling Live. They should be in Dwelling Live, from my understanding.
This is Dan, I believe there's a separate bullet on that. I'm trying to locate it in the document.
Yeah.
There is a statement regarding newspaper delivery, because they
Yes.
come in like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right, but I think they're also, yeah, I think you are correct. But I think they're also the regular vendors that are allowed in. I think they're in Dwelling Live.
Some of them.
Not all of them? Okay.
It comes in on, well, my page 32 from one of the old post orders.
Yeah, but it's not in this version, is my
We
understanding.
haven't gotten to it yet.
We
It's
haven't
like
got to it? Okay.
8 or 10 pages past.
Okay, hold that thought, we'll see what it looks like when we get to it, and if we need to add it back in, we can certainly do that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That is a note, so I don't forget. Okay, if there's nothing else, let's move on to page 24. Client rules, regulations, and specialized duties. Main gate, access gate arms.
This is on-
Okay, gate, oh, was there a comment? I'm sorry. No? Okay. Gatehouse power outage.
Well,
Marty?
one of your documents up here, I don't remember, I can't find where it is in here, but it said that the gate must come down before it's open.
Next page. Andrew.
Is it the next
Andrew,
page?
Next page. On here.
That doesn't happen.
Which gate are you referring to?
I think it's one,
You talking about
Page
the trap gate?
24
Yeah.
of
The-
the orders,
Well, the trap gate doesn't work for one
client
thing,
rules, regulations.
but the gate before the trap gate, that doesn't come all the way down all the time.
Here, that one.
Oh, that one's left up, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Scott Charnock had that one permanently left up, and I can't remember
No, I'm talking about the
why.
primary one, the initial one. There is.
The initial,
It comes down slowly.
the initial gate with the people using their barcodes, okay? That does not come all the way down before it reopens. You don't have, without the trap gate working, okay, it does not have to come all the way down before it interrupts its motion and reopens.
Okay, this is Bob Gepper. The way it functions now is the result of a vote of PPAC that was taken because of, to partially disable the trap gate in high volume times. So if you only have one vehicle approach, the trap will work. If you get multiple people and the trailing car trips the arm, it will ascend immediately. It won't go all the way down and then come up. And that was done in an effort to relieve congestion for residents
And that's fine,
and only for residents.
but that's not what the document
Okay.
said that I read before I came here.
Can you find that where it is? No, that's fine.
You can
It
look
might
on
not-
my iPad.
It
But
might
the
not be
function,
there.
my only point is the function is not a
This
mistake.
talks about.
That was an intentional
Here.
effort
Right.
to relieve congestion.
Yeah.
And only on the barcode vehicle side.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll
Doesn't
see if we
happen.
can find where that is.
It says,
'cause
the
it
first
might-
bullet says the main gate arms must be lowered after each vehicle enters the community. That.
Yeah,
was
we
not-
never changed that when we made the decision to speed up the process, so you're right.
And that's the point. So should we change it now?
Yeah, I would think you should at least reflect what we're doing.
So, okay, so the main gate arms, is it the fact that it's plural? Is it the fact that it is not coming all the way down before it comes back up when there's another car coming through?
Yeah, there's no,
I'm just trying to make sure.
there is no, without the trap gate, there is no enforcement for the arms to come all the way down before the next vehicle comes through.
On the resident entry side, that's correct.
I think that needs to be maybe an alignment, have the company that put the arms in, they're constantly here, and have to synchronize the arms. But to Bob's point, it'll automatically stop going down at the minute another car breaks the plane, and it'll come back up.
As soon as another car's barcode is read.
Right, but it breaks the plane, you're right. The barcode
Yes.
It's
is
the
the trap.
barcode, not breaking, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
the
barcode's the
barcode. So
drug.
that's, it's designed to do that.
And I believe the other gate does the same thing. If I'm right behind another vehicle that goes through the left-hand gate, if I drive behind them and my barcode is scanned also, that'll go back up also before it comes all the way down. So you don't meet
Right.
that first bullet.
And the same thing applies, to the exit gate. If you tailgate in person in front of you, when the gates are down, that gate arm will not come all the way down, it'll automatically go back up.
So with the decision to change the requirements, you can't meet that bullet.
I think we're probably gonna remove that because it makes no sense.
Change the label, but as long as it's a barcode being read that's letting you in, we're okay.
Exactly. I don't know what the issue
If a
is.
person that doesn't have a barcode could tailgate, then that's a problem. And
It
that's-
says
I don't think
the
that-
arm must be lowered. It doesn't say how far it has to be.
Yeah, I guess
lowered.
that's how I was reading it, so
And it
that's why I
does start
just
to
I
vet-
understand,
You
so.
know, come on.
I think the verbiage we made to satisfy this conversation, the gate arms will begin to lower after each entry.
That'll work.
Okay, this way it satisfies that. What happens after that? If you break it, you own it. $440, you get it fixed.
No, 1,240 for a new gate arm.
Oh, boy, the price went up.
For
I got-
brand-
Okay,
I
so
got
we're
duct
gonna
tape.
change
For a
this
brand
to
new
say the main gate arms will begin to be lowered after each vehicle enters the community
Resident
It's
side.
residents.
on the resident side.
So it won't be the main gate, the resident entry gate homes. Resident entry gate homes will begin to lower after each vehicle enters the community.
Must be lower 15 feet.
Okay,
There's a
got it.
barcode reader on
Anything else?
Jennifer,
Yes.
can you, I think I missed it. If you could go back to the previous page, please.
Which is the previous page? Can you give me a number?
No,
23?
I can't. Whatever the page that had all the procedures about with a barcode or without a barcode.
Oh, okay, that's 22, I think. Thank you.
Okay, right there. Okay.
Yeah,
So how do we know if there is somebody who's coming to Pelican Preserve who is not a resident and not and maybe a visitor, but not a visitor, a guest of anybody, is going to play golf on the private property that you get to by going to Veneto, as I understand. How does the guard allow that to go through, that person or those people to go through? And what about special events? If there's somebody going to the town center because they're going to have a car show and they want to see the cars, or an art show, and they're not residents and they're not guests of residents, yet they want to go to private property.
Okay, well, I
Isn't that
think
covered
they
under
probably,
C?
yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah, it's
get to that.
C2 covers that.
Yeah, read it. I don't see it there.
I think we might need a C2B to cover some of the items that Dean's bringing up. People going to play golf, people are going to special events. Those are not listed here specifically, but I think they were intended to be part of that. So do we want to list
Page 33, it talks about golfers and special events.
33?
People playing pickleball or tennis as
Yeah,
from outside communities. Softball teams from other places.
so would it be appropriate to add under 2C I2 a B? I know, what can I say? Add something in there that if someone's coming in for a golfing event or a special event, like a car show or whatever, they're coming in for a sporting event or something like this, et cetera, they should be allowed entry, but they should understand the basic rules.
They present their license and the guard gives them a pass.
Right. So do we want to spell a couple of those examples out there?
Not limited to, but such as.
Right. Yeah, okay, not limited to, but example, yeah. Yes, no?
I think so.
Okay. All right, just thinking.
That may end up creating long queues, especially on days when there's going to be a wedding, or the area realtors are coming in to have a meeting or whatever. There's things that go on that these post orders don't address.
Well,
Then you know
Dean, it's
what?
Bob again, but in those cases, that's when the shift supervisor is supposed to go and assist. And if he needs to, call off the rover for that brief period to deal with the backlog.
Yeah.
We did talk about that in feedback. You're exactly correct. There are events where you get a lot of people, particularly in the morning, or again at lunch if it's a lunch event. And that's the way we decided to deal with it back then.
Or the 10K.
No,
Yeah, but if we don't tell the guards on duty what they're supposed to do.
Well, you're exactly right. We need to codify it. But I mean, it hasn't, it's not like it hasn't occurred and in the
Right.
past was dealt with, but we need to codify it. We
Right.
get that done.
Okay,
Right.
I think we can add it in. I'd be happy to add that in. And so, as we were saying, not limited to, verbiage, not limited to golf, special events, sporting competitions, et cetera.
Because we rent out the town center all the time.
Yeah. Right?
So why don't we automate this service? I've been to other communities where there's a card reader at the main gate, and I pull up, I roll down my window, I stick my driver's license in, it takes a picture of it, it spits it back out, the gate goes up.
I've been in other communities where you do that and sit there forever. too, so.
It has its pluses and minuses, and I agree with you. I already looked into that system with the location where my son lives, just outside Pelican. There are problems with that. People don't show up, their license can't scan, and the live person in that kiosk doesn't know what he or she is doing. And you get repaid. I agree. I would love to see an automated system in there. It would, but we have a lot of we have 2,500 doors, and we have a lot of traffic that we would not be able, that system would not be able to sustain it.
No.
Based on the numbers of vehicles coming in and out. So yes on one end, no on the other.
It's a public road. You can't deny them access.
Exactly.
You can deny them going to private roads though.
Right.
And town center is on a private road and the golf course is on a private road.
And Pelican Preserve Boulevard is not.
Correct.
Correct.
And that's what they're
Correct.
looking to access.
But those
Right.
roads aren't close to this problem.
Right. I'm not sure we're getting it to everything in your concern.
You can't stop them from entering
Correct.
Pelican Preserve.
And that's what we're trying to say within these post orders.
All right.
Pelican
Good.
Preserve is an access control community and all people entering the community are subject to verification. And then it goes on about how you just can't restrict them. Okay. All right, I think we were on page 24. Dean, we'll get that added in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Page 24. I think we finished access gate arms and we're moving on to gatehouse power outage. That actually moves on to page 25 as well.
Well, this is Bob again, but now that we're really close to having the generator running,
Yeah.
really close.
There's a hole there.
Oh, right.
This will probably go away.
So excited.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully.
For now, it's still appropriate. He was out there this morning working.
Okay. It'll probably be easier to take it out than
Yeah.
put it in. So
Leave it
why don't you
alone
leave it
until-
because- yeah.
Till it's operational, which should be a week at the
Yeah.
most.
Okay.
Unless they get hit by lightning.
Oh,
gosh.
gosh.
They Start calling me gloom and doom.
Man, we're like the capital of the world.
My wife was negative, Marty.
Okay. Page 29, utility leaks, breaks, and malfunctions.
Question on, we're
Um,
on 26. This is Ed on the generator. Is, those things have to be run periodically, test run?
They run themselves every day, every week.
Weekly.
Every week.
But who
No.
does that? What am I
It's
talking
an
about?
it's an automatic thing. We
So-
just gotta
Okay.
figure out who's
Okay.
gonna have the app.
And
There's
since
an
you
app.
asked,
But who's gonna monitor it?
it's also aligned with
Danny.
our service company.
Okay.
The service company is Honeydew, and they know that it's been running. And we will be in a contract with them to come out twice a year
Mhm.
to maintain. It maintains the warranty. But they're great
I
questions.
wasn't sure whether or not Weiser had to flip a switch. to-
Nope,
There's a
nope.
Generac
It's running
app that
automatically, and then
Danny,
it sends out an email when the system is running. And if it inadvertently runs, an emergency email is sent out to the owner, so to speak.
Yeah.
I get an email when it's running, and I get an email when it's back in standby.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
because after X number of hours, it must be serviced.
Okay. Did we miss a page?
Yeah, we were on this.
We were on page 25. Okay, what is 20? Oh, well, okay, well, I'm using the page numbers of the actual document versus the page numbers of.
Okay, so this is 24.
It's just
Yeah,
great.
and then we did 25, I thought as well.
It's good. Works on that. Yeah.
Okay. So then I think we jumped, because there's some blank pages maybe, to page 29. Yeah. That gets back to the formatting. We ripped a whole bunch of stuff out and I couldn't figure out how to make that update and use that as a template. Okay, utility leaks, breaks, and malfunctions.
Contact gateway.
Yeah,
Contact gateway.
okay, so we're gonna remove property manager and put gateway.
Put both, keep both.
Yeah, or both.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to know if the gatehouse is going to blow up.
Man, we're very, very positive and cheerful today.
And this is Danny. Should we not list the CDD utilities above Fort Myers utilities? Or is it basically the main roads?
The majority of the community is city of Fort Myers.
Okay.
True. Okay,
I haven't lived here that long, and I can't tell you. how
under
many
number
times that
one, we'll
gatehouse
add the
has been hit by lightning.
CDD, the normal customer service number, and the property manager. Okay,
I heard Jennifer say Tico. I think that'd be a good idea to
I
have
think
that as well.
Tico's number,
Oh.
especially for gas
Ah.
leak, contact Tico.
Nothing wrong with that.
Or 911.
Yeah, yeah. Do we know what their number, I can look up the customer service number, but does anyone know off the top of their head?
No.
Okay.
Thank
Customer
God,
service
unless it's
number.
somebody
Okay,
again.
I'll look it up. Danny's looking it up as well. Okay,
FPL.
Tico. Tico gas.
well, it says appropriate utility provider and they have the FPL number in front. We could add everybody back in here.
In the front,
Look to
I would
see
put
if
Tico.
Tico's-
in the
Just
front.
duplicate it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to duplicate it,
Oh.
so.
Maybe Tico should be added to the original emergency numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was going back to. See if it's there.
It's not. But it should be. Now that we have gas, I don't think we have.
Jennifer, you might put refer page, whatever the first page was you did it.
Yeah, okay.
And that should be blown up and right on the bulletin board. Then updates and
Current page 5. Okay, we'll get Tico added then. Yeah, the problem with putting things in two places is it never stays the same, so,
Page numbers change.
yeah. Yeah, we'll probably end up putting in a section number. Okay,
Fries are done.
the last thing there is just a picture. The utility service area map on page 30. Okay. Wow, we made it through. Oh, yes, Dean.
I'm sorry. I had on my notes, page 23, but there's a paragraph that talks about the emergency gate off of Prado.
Yes, uh-huh.
And I think we should put the emergency gate located at Prado Drive right there.
Uh-huh.
I think we should put the GSCDD emergency number, right there for gate access.
Yep, customer service if somebody needs it.
Yeah, customer service. It's for utility and other emergency situations. And I want to ensure, I asked this question the other day, I think, to Andrew. And, he responded up from the utility side, but I was also asking about emergency situations, like responders, like fire, police, emergency that may need to access via that gate. Does the customer service number get access for those sorts of emergencies?
So
just-
emergency vehicles have a access by using their sirens. And the gate will open automatically for that. It's already set up that way by
In the
code.
card.
Is it the siren or do they have the pin code also?
No, there's no pin code. Well, I refer to it as a squawk box, but I think it's called a SOS box. There's one on each gate that they can use to enter in an emergency.
Maybe you want to put that in the Wiser contract.
I'm sorry, Nancy?
Maybe you want to add that to the Wiser contract so that Wiser knows the gate will open automatically for emergency personnel.
Would be the contract, or should we put it in the post orders here, maybe?
Yeah, wherever you think is appropriate, Jen.
I should make a note of it and how to make the post orders.
Mhm. I'm just reading it for a sec.
Fort Myers Police Department said, not to worry, if they need to get in, they'll get in.
Yes.
Fire department, so they're going through.
I'm gonna be a little afraid of that.
Okay, so why did?
We, just to let you know, we did test the gates. I think, the fire department came and we did test the gates to make sure that that worked and they were able to get in.
Okay.
That's good, good.
Okay. So we will add something in there that if other items emerge, they can contact the customer service. I think they have something, customer service number. I think they have something up in their guardhouse with that, but anyway, okay, we'll add that in. No problem.
This is Jen with KW. I have an update from Wiser on the phone for the Rover.
Okay.
Just cross it right off because it's not going to be public.
Okay.
They
So
are
for
just
what
to call the
feature-
gatehouse if anybody in the community needs patrol, because they're not doing anything for the community.
Can you reference the page number for me?
I think it's, well, it was
Is it six?
your client.
Near the, yeah, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 somewhere.
Okay,
in
so
there.
just take that off.
Yeah, Mark Thompson says, I was told by Tim in his conversation with Gateway, the phone will not be public or community distributed.
Okay.
Oh, that's an interesting statement. That means that the gatehouse has to answer the phone when it rings. All right, and so that's the problem
And they never did.
that Wiser has to deal with.
Yeah, residents are to call the gatehouse and inform any details the rover needs to know or do.
Good luck.
So this is, I'm going back to what I said about making amendments. So the Wiser is amending their own contract.
They're hearing this from Gateway, he's saying. They were instructed by Gateway that the rover phone is not to be published to the public. It is an internal phone that they will use from the gatehouse to call the rover if needed.
It's Bob Geppert. Let that matter rest in the Board of Supervisors. It's going to be brought to PPAC. The district,
Thank you, Bob.
the district believes that the rover's not part of the, well, it isn't. The rover's not part of our assets. That's a little different than saying that the rover doesn't benefit the general community a great deal. I have proposed and am proposing that the rover, the town center, and the RV park remain a part of the Wiser contract, recognizing that they are not specific district assets, but offsetting the fact that they're not district assets with the overall benefit to the community.
This is Laura. I was just chatting with Chelsea. That comment about the district saying that the rover phone could not be published, neither one of us knew anything about that. That did not come from us.
Okay, good. Then we can just take that. But take what I said under advisement, and it'll be a TBD. It's going to be brought up to PPAC this week, or next week when they have their meeting, or this week, whatever the next PPAC meeting is. And whatever they say that we should do, then it'll probably go to the board. I think I have had conversations with the community association. I think that generally speaking, they support that we continue this activity, that we not have a separate contract with them. And since we have about 18 to 20 years of history that we've done this, I don't expect anything but support from the board.
You know, that is a different conversation.
I understand it. I understand where
Yes.
you're coming from, but just be aware that this is something we're still fighting.
Okay.
It's not really a fight. I mean, we're there's district assets and there's Pelican Preserve assets and there's liability issues involved with both. So that's kind of where that's coming from. It's not like, I've said it in your previous meetings, it's not like the district doesn't think that those areas need to be patrolled, but the district thinks that the district should not pay for those areas to be patrolled because they're not district assets. But Chelsea and I have been in conversations with Faye and Nancy, and Jen about how the best way is to handle this. It may come to that nothing changes and that is covered under there, but as of right now, the district's stance is that that needs to be a separate contract. Not saying that that's where it's gonna stay.
Totally
I'm
understand.
saying as of right now, that's where we're at.
And as of this moment, we agree to disagree.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so in terms of what we do with this document, can we find out from Mark who in Gateway told them to do this?
Well, you just heard the two vote dates. It doesn't matter. Correct
It
it
doesn't?
to him, that is not the Gateway position that can be published. And do it by email, copy Laura and Chelsea.
Okay, anything else with this document? Okay, thank you all very much for your help with this. I will make those changes and get them to Georgia for distribution within the next couple of days or so.
One last comment before you adjourn.
Yes, sir.
I've had a number of people on the committee ask me what is in their budget. I just made copies of the current high-level budget. I'll present that to everybody,
Thank you.
just so you all have it. Safety and security is highlighted. The budget will be finalized August 17th, with good luck.
Just to expand on that, that budget is in PPAC's agenda, so you are more than welcome to go online and take a look at it. It is part of their agenda for Thursday. But Bob loves his paper.
Yeah, it's a nice.
I do love my paper.
It's a good summary. Okay. Anything else from the committee? Yes, sir.
The last meeting we had, somebody was talking about the rumble strips that we have, and they were going to replace it with the
Table.
the speed hump or whatever. If anybody wants to see one of those speed humps, you can go over here off of Route 82, right behind the Dairy Queen. There's a street that runs parallel with Route 82. There's one of those, it's even painted like the one that was on our diagram and stuff. If anybody wants to see one firsthand, there's one firsthand.
Thank you.
Can you drive it over? No. It was my Corvette, was dragged over.
We have them all over in
And no Corvettes over at the town.
Okay, anything else? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Danny?
Yeah.
I move that this meeting be adjourned.
Danny, second?
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, we are
Nance,
adjourned
if you can
at
stick around,
I will.
I'll stay.
2:55.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
I'm gonna
Just
give Ted my car keys. You can drop me off at home.
Well, it won't take long, will it?
I don't, just didn't want to lose it.